Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order for the school board for September 10th at 6:30 this evening, and we'd like to start with a salute to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Grace here.
Gerardi here. Keane here. Kit here.
Over here.
Okay, and we're going to go right to old business.
Oh, we're not having a projector here?
It's right there,
Oh, all right.
but Lori usually does that, so,
There's no one here to do it?
no.
All right.
Do you need it brought up? Because I have it right here for you.
No, I haven't. We have done the public here.
Yeah, let's see.
Do you want, Kathy, do you want to follow along on my computer? Or my iPad?
If the
You can
wire-
use either one.
I can make a copy of the agenda.
That's only Kathy. She can share with somebody if they come
You
in.
can come sit next to me.
Yeah, I'll just move up with Sarah, that way, it's like right close by, that way I don't have to.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. It's up to you.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
All right, so we have old business budget transfer, anticipated attorney, CBA
Yes,
negotiations.
this is the one that didn't get sent, that now has been sent around. So you should have a spreadsheet, it's actually PDF, it's a spreadsheet 91011 Walbury Stone and Peters PLLC Attorney Services, and if you notice, you go down about the seventh item, teacher and support staff negotiation, labor relations. The cost was $11,141.94 that year. So that's how much was spent, and you can see the bottom line of how much was spent that year, which was about $42,700. So we only had $5,000 in our attorney's line, so we're going to need to move money. And that's why the transfer request for 25. So what would you recommend, Sharon?
My recommendation would be 20.
Yeah, and I would agree with that, so
I think that's very,
we'll get that set up.
I think that'll be plenty.
Do you want us to vote for that this evening?
Yes. I'd
Okay.
like to have official-
I'll make a motion to transfer $20,000 from the tuition public regular education line into the legal expense line in Fund 10.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, I'll set that up and we'll get that signed up at another time.
So approval of minutes, agenda revisions. There was a revised agenda that went out and was posted, which is what I'm working off of. And we have been doing something a little bit incorrectly. When we revise the agenda, you cannot add information items or action items to an agenda after the agenda has been posted unless there's time to revise the agenda per RSA. So in the future, you won't be seeing us adding any agenda items.
Oh, okay.
We can move things around as agenda
Or
revisions.
So
Or
when,
delete things.
when do we post the agenda?
We posted it last Thursday, but
All right.
we have to post it within 24 hours of the meeting. So we can make changes to the agenda up to 24 hours. So we realized that I was able to get the business reports printed off. So we added, the only thing we did was add number 6 under section 8, financial reports, and we reposted the agenda and sent those items out to you.
All right.
And that was before 24 hours in advance of the meeting, so we can do that.
So what would the procedure be so we need to get, if we want an agenda item, when do we need to get it in order to be properly posted? Because I can't come to the meeting now and say
That's
I'd like
right.
to add this. So
That's
when
correct.
would something that I think needs to be in the agenda, what's the procedure and?
7
how
days
we do it?
before the meeting,
And I send
Tuesday.
it
And it should go through the chair.
to the chair,
Yeah.
okay,
She will decide whether or not it gets added to the agenda, and she will
Alright.
send it to me.
all right.
After that, you can put emergency items on, but they have to be emergency items. But the purpose of this is to make sure that the public always knows within 24 hours what's on the agenda. They have a right to know, so that's why that's done.
Okay, so, I don't think we have to move anything. So, we have the section 6 approval of minutes, public minutes of August 27th, work session. Anybody have any changes to those?
I have a couple of things, if I might. Principals. P-R-I-N-C-I-P-L-E rather than P-A-L-S. We're in Mr. Call for action items 2. First, after Free Society, there's a section, you have principals, there's a principal.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's another one in the next paragraph, second to the last line, right in the middle. Just remember the line that your principal is your pal.
Yeah, I usually know that, so I'm wondering whether it's a spell check thing. Okay.
Wow, okay. I mean, I had one too, on page 3, item number 2. It's just a spelling error. Mr. Cole mentioned the drop, E-R-O.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's here. Figure it was got
And then in that same sentence, he did not
Oh,
think.
think.
Yeah,
Wow, what happened? All right.
That's okay.
your fingers were off by 1 key, that's all that happened.
I usually do this late at night, so.
You shifted to the right.
A little formatting, my anal formatting thing. And number 3, your numbered items should all start with a capital, so data should be capitalized.
Okay.
On page
And then at
7.
page number 5, same thing, improvement should be capitalized.
And I got page 7.
Page 7? It's only 2 pages.
So 2 page, oh, that's another,
Yeah, we're
Another
on
minute.
number, yeah.
that's another 7 minutes.
Okay, and at the end of, in item 4, third section down, structure basic, the board should work on a capital depreciation, just needs a period at the end.
Yep.
Number 8, spelling of proficient,
Oh, yes.
Yep.
and the, in the parentheses should be capitalized with a period at the end, because it's a full sentence.
Okay.
And the only thing is at the bottom, August 27, 2013 Q&A, there's no Q&A, so you can just delete that. But that's it for me.
That's what I had. Anybody else?
I like to have Bessie review our minutes for grammatical stuff. It saves me.
So do I have a motion to accept as amended?
Motion to accept as amended.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Okay, August 27th meeting minutes.
Okay, I got, well, here's my page 7, right?
I have one under action items A. I think I just want to clarify this. It says Dr. Cox-Buteau gave a history of the Bilecki family selling their home in Fremont, moving temporarily to Danville, awaiting completion of their new home in
Right.
Fremont, because
Correct.
they're not purchasing a home in Danville.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that parentheses just needs to be struck, Sue.
Okay. I wasn't sure what was going on. Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
They're
fine.
living in
That's-
Danville with family until their house in Fremont is finished.
Okay, thanks.
And I got under page 7, number H, this is just another typo, which is, you're doing pretty good, actually. I typed this, it would be all typos. The
Yeah.
board,
Page 7.
John, can you pass that to Sue?
Oh,
so she
I
doesn't
think,
have to
should
try to
it read,
fix
okay,
it?
it said, 7H, it says, to expend funds under law, the board needed to hold a public hearing. It should say, I mean, I understand talking about the past, but we talk about the future, the board needs to hold a public hearing.
Where are you talking about?
Okay.
Oh, we're talking about
Page
that.
7, page H, under page 7, the capital reserve fund is actually called the Ellis School Building and Grounds Maintenance Fund. To expend funds under law, the board needs to hold a public hearing, and it should be published at least 7 days.
Yeah,
Ah,
the
needs,
board
yeah.
needs, and
Instead of
also, the
Right.
school board acts as agents in the last sentence.
Oh, acts as agents.
Okay.
Yeah, needs and acts, if you're gonna put it in the present tense.
Yeah, because I see, yeah, you probably, there was some discussion what we did in the past. but-
Okay.
which was wrong.
Under action items, back to the beginning, A, non-resident request for students to attend the Ellis School, you have L's. It's the title line,
Oh, sorry. Yep.
okay, Ellis Schools. And F, on the second page, stipend, spelling of stipend, F. Letter F.
I don't have that page.
It-
Page 6.
Oh, it's goofed up.
letter F.
Sorry.
Okay, hang on, she's,
What in the world? Oh, this is,
I'll give you this
sorry,
one done.
that was the one that was given to me. F?
F.
Yes, what was it?
F, stipend, the word
Yep.
stipend.
Wow, sorry, I have no idea why this
Sue,
is.
That's
it's okay.
You take
Don't
great
even
notes.
worry about it.
You take
My
great
mind must have been
notes.
somewhere
Typos are
else
no big
these,
deal.
this night. Okay, yep. Got it.
The only thing everything else was fine, I just have one thing I want to just do for Sue. Under M, nomination of financial administrator,
Yep.
could we change it from Sue Dillon to Sue Penny?
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, I'm sorry.
Yeah, pass that
Oh,
down.
no, that's, no, that was me.
You should welcome me to our school board meeting.
Oh, I
We
see.
will, but after the minutes.
Oh.
I have a couple, Sue, after you're ready.
Yep.
Section C, budget transfers. I would like to say Ms. Keene asked if grant applications were now sent to the New Hampshire DOE.
Okay.
And then if, on the next line, it says if the board could, just get rid of sit and, if the board could transfer those funds all at once now.
Okay.
That's what just clarified.
Okay.
And now, that paragraph there got carried to Q&A.
Oh,
The
yep.
question, so that'll just be the same thing again there, that change.
Okay.
Anybody else for anything? So I have a motion to accept as amended.
Motion to accept as amended.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and non-public wasn't sealed.
I didn't see anything on that.
The only thing I saw was return to general session twice. I think that's a mistake.
Yep, I'll get the right one. All right, thanks. Yep. So I have the second one.
Yeah. So motion to accept as amended.
Motion to accept as amended.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Board superintendent communications.
We discussed that. Oh, no, you mean correspondence? Is that what that, well, that was my question. I'm not sure what that means.
I
I should
think-
have asked it last time.
I think you put it into your superintendent's report.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we can either move your superintendent's report to there, or we can just go to information items and
We can
stop
do it.
having that.
What typically will be correspondence to the board? If someone writes a letter to the board and you want to read it into the public minutes.
Okay.
You would have we would have correspondence as
Okay.
that section. So I would recommend that we just change that in the future to correspondence. If people think that works. We may
I
not-
like it.
Yeah. Mhm.
You look like you
Say
have
that
a
again,
question.
I'm a little confused.
Very often on in an agenda, you will have a time for correspondence. If a citizen writes a letter to the board, the board needs to consider it. So that would be the opportunity for the board to consider something coming from anybody.
Right.
It's written directly to the
So is
board.
this gonna be board superintendent communication?
I would just say correspondence.
Okay.
And if there's anything I've listed under there, or Ida will, let me know if she receives something that she wants to bring to the board.
Okay, so information items, administration reports, superintendent report.
Okay. Somewhere in here. Well, is there any general questions? And then I have one thing I'd like to talk about.
I don't have any questions about
No,
your,
we did have, the first item you had, Betsy, was the financial administrator departure, and we also had noted that we have a new financial administrator, so we might want to welcome
It's okay.
Sue Kenny.
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
She's not officially on board yet, so don't start getting
Yeah.
excited.
I don't know, I'm not, no questions.
I know, I still have.
But she has met already with Lori.
Yeah, Lori and I spent about 3 hours last Thursday evening kind of transferring some information, and we plan on meeting next week as well.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That's been,
Well, welcome to our lovely meeting.
yeah, thank you.
This soda over there.
Oh.
Great day.
Thank you.
yeah, we keep everybody well fed. If there's no other questions, I do want to note though, that, and I think that you're aware that the warrant article for the grants, I went back and I looked at the original one, only restricts
Right.
receiving grants from federal, state, and other government
Right.
agencies, so we can take private grants. Which means that we could go out and get something from Lowe's, or we could get something from Starbucks, or
Right.
Shaw's, or anything else. And we can accept that as an item. Except that, when I said that we could do that, we did not have the unanticipated revenue warrant article did not pass, so we cannot take it. We can't take private donations this year, private grants. Because there is no article saying that the school district can accept unanticipated funds in the form of private donations.
All right.
So we can't take anything.
All right.
So would it make sense to make it two different warrant articles in the future?
Yes, it might, if we're gonna try and get something through.
So,
Yeah.
Well, the other way around all of that is to basically budget it.
Right, but you have to raise the bottom line to do that. Because if you're going to put in anticipated revenue, it has to be reflected somewhere in the expenditures. And so you could not get it. And you have to just make sure if you do it, that you don't count it again against a line that is active and already working. You have a
Gotcha.
specific
Right.
line for it. But
Okay.
it will raise the bottom line.
Okay,
Right.
My
So there'll
question
be a
is-
wash because there's revenues
it won't raise the
offsetting
tax
spending.
impact, it will only raise the bottom line.
Right.
It doesn't raise the tax impact. When we
No,
did
it
the
won't raise
tax
the tax impact,
impact
but
at the district meeting,
That's right.
it wouldn't affect it.
That's correct.
in a
It will
negative
not
way.
affect taxes, but it will affect the amount on the warrant article.
Sure,
So
sure.
people will
Right.
see
So
an
if that's
increase.
what people say.
Well, the
my
people
question
really see
is,
the tax impact, is
can
what they're
we-
looking at.
can we apply for these grants that you have listed anyways, and then hold a meeting if we get, I mean, there's some significant grants here.
There
that
are
It would be
significant
worth
grants.
holding a meeting if we get some of them.
Right, the question, and we can do it, it would be tricky. Because some of them have to be expended in a certain period of time, some of them have to be applied for in a certain period of time. And I'm not sure how professionally I would feel if I applied for a grant and had to say, we may or may not be able to use this. And they may not want to award it to us because somebody else will be able to use it and we may not.
Right.
And so they may simply just feel that it's inappropriate for them to award something to a town that may not take it.
And when they point it out, that may go against us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a concern. You know.
Well, like the Race to the Top funds, if you think it's $100,000, it might be worth it to apply and
But
see
then
what
just takes,
happens.
how much time does it take to apply for?
That's a significant
Race to the
grant.
top is huge.
Yeah.
We actually applied to be part of that originally and we were
Yeah,
rejected.
The state can apply for Race to the Top, but individual schools can also apply for Race to the Top. And actually, Race to the Top funds are in the millions, but this was a guess as to what I thought we might be able to do, you know, based upon the intent of the grant. But it's a risk, and we would spend a lot of time doing it, we may not get it.
Right.
And again, I would have to be honest, you know, with the fact that we may not be able to take it.
Is there a board goal, could we, when we do our goals, say that one of the goals would be for us to reverse that citizen petition?
Right.
And to make that like a mission, if you will, of the
That
board?
would be a district goal. The
Okay.
board goals refer to the function of the
Oh,
board
that's
itself.
right, that's right, okay,
That
gotcha.
would be a district goal.
Okay,
And certainly, you know, that's, we have $32,000 in Title I funds that are a different pocket from
Mhm.
the 45 that we take now,
Mhm.
that I've been back and forth on the phone with Joey Nichols up at the DOE in the last 2 days about, because they want to give it to us, and they're requiring, under the focus schools, a variety of things that require funding, and they want to give us the money to do it. Well, we can't take it. So they have asked for it. She thinks they're going to find some way at the DOE to get around it. I sent them the article, I sent them the minutes, I sent them everything and said, go for it.
mhm.
But, you know. I
Can't
don't-
we just have a meeting, if worst case, just have a meeting to
Yes.
accept it?
The board can have a meeting to accept it.
But we have to have like the whole, you know, the voting, and
Yep.
you know, it
Yeah,
has to be
we-
two
We have a
meetings.
deliberative session
Yeah.
and a vote, and it's about $4,500 we figured to do it, which we would have to spend out of general fund,
Right.
and couldn't spend out of the
And we
grant.
couldn't reimburse ourselves out of the grant.
No,
Right.
we can't,
Something else.
because it doesn't fit the.
Maybe a learning lesson for us, you know.
Well,
Well,
that's why I wondered if we could apply for some of these other ones and do one meeting
And add, yeah.
for all of it, you
let me
know?
take a look at them, and what I'll do is I'll come back to the board.
Can we have, if we know we have $32,000 that they wanna give us for
Yes.
this focus school stuff, and we decide to have this meeting, can we up that number based on the potential?
You certainly could. I mean, you could set up, it's a warrant, you can set up several articles, accept the $32,000 from the state, accept up to $100,000 from Race to the Top, except, You can do
So we
that.
could do it all at
You
once.
could do it all at once.
For
So
the
we-
one cost.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we could do it now, we could do it now.
yeah,
And even before, I mean, for these grants, we could do it now.
Mhm.
And before you
Apply.
send in the
that's true, you
application.
could do
Right.
that.
And we could do it, allowing us to accept this money if
Yep.
received.
Yeah,
And it totals $428,000.
you could do an up to contingent upon receipt,
Right.
absolutely.
That makes-
I think
that
that
makes
makes the
sense.
most sense, and then it gives the community a little window into what this warrant article,
Has done.
you know,
I think
is,
it's a great
is,
idea.
you know, doing, especially if we have that guarantee of $32,000, it definitely would be worth the expense.
Let me come back to the board next time with a scenario of how many days we have to give, what the process would be, what has to be done, and lay it out, and you can decide on what you want to do.
My one thing that I would ask, and I don't know if we can do this now, is if it would be permissible to have the voting for the second session at the safety complex, so we don't have to close school. Otherwise, we have to close school for a day, which isn't in our schedule.
Unless we did it.
Unless we did it during April vacation or February vacation and planned it.
Or Christmas
Or
vacation.
Christmas
Or
vacation.
Christmas day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
it's
just
true.
day after
Or
Thanksgiving.
Columbus Day,
Mhm.
no, it's too soon.
No.
But, and Veterans Day, you can't open a school, so
Right.
it can't be on Veterans Day,
Right.
but you could do it the day after
So
Thanksgiving.
we'd have to be forward thinking that,
That's
all.
right. So let me see what I can lay out, and I'll bring it to the meeting on the
All
24th.
right.
Okay, very good, very good, okay. There was one other thing I wanted to put in that is not in my report, and that is a discussion about Sarah being at all meetings. Sarah doesn't say a lot at a lot of meetings, and, but she gives a report, and if there are any questions on the report, I would certainly be able to bring her back, but unless she has something to actually present, thank you, I knew it started with a P, present to the board, I don't see any reason why she should have to be here every time. Now, him, on the other hand, you know.
Unless her current did, I know, right.
So how is it, when we get the agenda packet, if we say, I have questions, you know, then.
On the-
you
on
might-
your- yep.
On a report.
We
then
can
you
ask
might-
them and get answers later, either.
Oh, yeah. we
Yeah,
have
or
to
you can
reach
just
out
ask
to-
at the meeting and I can get you the
Yeah.
answers.
I even would extend that to John, actually, in my opinion, you know, I mean, unless
I would
there's a
agree.
presentation going on.
I would agree.
Right.
John would like
Yeah,
that.
it's just-
Depends on the time of year.
I mean, they're certainly welcome to be at any meetings they would want to be at,
Absolutely.
but I would agree. I mean, very typically, you'll just see the superintendent and the board, and the questions go that way.
And I think that makes sense, and
Okay.
do you need a motion for that?
If I need a motion, just
Interesting.
if the board feels
Make
that's
it
okay.
I think it's really the superintendent's pleasure, and as long as we are not opposed to it, I
Right.
suppose, but I think originally it was because there were two principals, and so we
Right.
had two principals in the meeting.
May I offer a suggestion? I presented you with a schedule of like data. Like next month, I'm gonna bring in WA data.
Right.
When I'm doing those particular things, I would like to
Absolutely.
come,
Oh, no,
like
that's-
this type of a report is basically, here's our new system, this is what we got.
Mm-hmm.
It's just informational, but when I'm presenting that, I'd like to.
And we will put you on the agenda with the presentation.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, my opinion is when your principal's report comes through, I love them, but I think Betsy can speak to them too, you know,
Well, you guys put in long hours, and
yeah.
it's more and more the number of hours you're putting in. I'm sure you'd like to see your daughter every now and then, huh?
Every now and then.
Is she 11 yet?
11, she's 16.
Okay, I'll get past that. And of course you wanna see
You
her.
don't need to see her.
11, worst age ever.
No, I would be here every single time if she were still alive. Sorry, Madeline.
They don't want to see you, actually,
Okay,
probably.
thank you, then we will do that.
Sure.
They will come when they feel that they or I or the chair request their presence.
Mhm.
Okay. Perfect, thank you. That's it for me, unless there's any other questions.
Nope.
Great.
Oh, yeah, I do have a question for you tonight, so.
Okay.
Okay, and we saw that the notices went in for the public hearing too, for the press and all of that. Principals report. Any questions?
Yes, I do.
Comments?
What is the Love Logic Parent Series?
It's been here forever. long time ago.
That's it, I mean, that's, I tried to find it on the, yeah, I know it's been there for a long time, but I didn't, I mean, is it, I tried finding it on our website, I wasn't too sure.
Isn't that what Family First does? Aren't they the ones who do the?
Is this my report?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Written so long ago.
Yeah.
September
Yes.
21st, John, under upcoming dates, it says Love
Oh,
Logic
oh.
Parent Series begins.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? That's an old calendar, I think. That,
Oh,
no, maybe not. I don't know. That was something that, yeah, that's an old calendar. I think I pasted that to kind of remind me of dates that I need to put in here. I cut and paste from old reports. That's a mistake right there. The rest of them, yeah, oh,
NEWA testing picture day. open house.
picture day's right, open house is right,
Yes.
the curriculum night's right.
Thursday.
I think what I did is I just forgot to delete special education information night and Love Logic Parent Series begins. That was something done through the guidance department, I believe. That was a couple years ago. And, but we do have a middle school dance
all right.
and that picture day is
17th and
long.
21st should not be there.
Right.
So the 17th and the 21st
Okay.
In the 25th?
and the 25th, unless that's retake. I think
I
that's
think
retake.
the retake is early October
Oh.
though.
Yeah, maybe it is all there,
Teresa said.
October.
So there is no Love Logic Parent Series? this
No,
year? Okay.
no,
No
no.
love fest.
And no special education information night.
All right, oh, okay.
Which I'd be happy to do, but that's a surprise to me. So
I know.
I need some time.
I'm trying to look for, did you mention the anti-bullying? I'm trying to find out where that is.
I'm having computer issues. I'm having big computer issues,
Oh, is
so.
that in your report, or, because I'm trying to think, because the.
The SAS, that was in the
SAS,
newsletter.
I went on, oh, it was in the newsletter, that's where it was, because I went on their website, I could not find I couldn't find the curriculum on their website. All they did they had a general description, but didn't have a curriculum. How would we find out what the curriculum is that they offer here?
I think
For
they
SAS.
mention on their site that they're with
They're-
the New Hampshire frameworks, right?
Right, I think it has, I can look at it.
Yeah.
But I believe that, I mean, Michelle Farrar, I can get her to get that information to you, but
All right.
it,
Because it sounds like they tailor.
it's not so much, if you look at it, it's not so much the curriculum, but they have workshops in what they do with
Right.
different age groups, in what they touch upon are different age
All right.
groups.
And they have certain scripts that they go by,
All right.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I'd like to see, I couldn't find it on their website. I saw all I could find was, it could be there.
And we'll get the answer for you.
That'd be good, okay.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
And John, are the weekly team meetings and the professional development schedule that you put here, is this different than what we used to do, or is it very similar to what we do now?
Depends on the year.
Okay.
This is, you mean the teachers' weekly team meetings? They always have a weekly team meeting, they've always had one, and what we've done is, we've been moving toward the PLC model for the past couple of years. Last year, we did a lot more work during this time, was with science. So this year, we're working more toward the PLC, curriculum and assessment, we're gonna finish up science during the early release days.
Mhm. Good to know.
And these are just all the professional development times that we have built into the calendar already.
And then the professional development committee for middle school, it says the co-chair is Irma. Does that mean there's another chair?
She's co-chair with Laura. She's the
Oh.
chair, what happened when we sent in the report to the DOE,
Mhm.
we had to have a chair or committee head and then a co-chair.
Okay. Gotcha.
Have we had any other safety drills in the school this year? Any safety
We've had
drills?
2 fire drills so far, and we're having a surprise one this week, surprise.
I was. Can we stricken that from the record?
No, well, I told them, I said that this is, I told them we were having one sometime this week, and this is their last, so I said the next surprise will be even more of a surprise. But we've had 3, and we have our safety committee starting tomorrow to
Oh, good.
review the lockdown drills and the
Lockdown, good.
and all those, and then we will have those by the end of the month.
Beautiful, all right.
And do you, for the cameras that were installed, do you guys have?
Well, that's part of what I was, we haven't had the lockdown drills, because they have to now tailor our safety plan in regards to cameras and door buzzers and all that stuff, so they have to do that, and that's just about finished, but.
So, I guess the questions asked me would be in that committee, is like when this class is switching, is there someone that watches it to watch the side doors, make sure no one gets in?
They're used, well, they're not always watching, I mean, that's when we're monitoring them all the time.
We
But
probably
what-
don't wanna talk about the safety plan at all in the
No.
public
Plus, this
meeting.
isn't a safe, well, I guess, we
Yeah,
just,
I don't
it's a
think we
joke
should be
about it.
talking about this in a public
Yep,
meeting.
that's fine.
What is month of the young adolescent coming in October?
Oh, wait, my computer. That's, that is part of the, the National Association of, Middle School, National, NELMS. New England League of Middle Schools, or the National Association of Middle Schools. It's basically middle school month, middle school student month.
Oh,
So it's just basically celebrating the young adolescent and middle school kids and what they're.
right.
Yep. And if you want information on that, we can look at nelms.org.
All right.
I like the uniform.
Yeah, that'd be great. I said I wanted one. I wanted that more than a polo, because we always get polos, and I thought these were really cool.
Special education coordinators report, thank you, John. Any questions? You said you had something?
Well, actually, it has more to do with enrollment than it has to do with special ed enrollment. It has to do with report.
Special ed enrollment, or
Well, the pre-K enrollment. Which is,
is that part of this report?
no,
Okay, so you don't have, does anybody have any questions for Sarah, seeing that she's here tonight?
I do have a question, I've got a question for her regarding pre-K enrollment, unless someone else could answer those questions.
Where is pre-K enrollment in our agenda?
We have
Please,
enrollment,
Sarah.
we have enrollment.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that then,
Yeah, when we get there.
please, yeah. Okay. I think it's right here, Andy, in her report, though. Preschool open house took place,
Right.
all families attended, well
Right.
done.
Right.
There are a total of 18 students
Oh, that's
enrolled.
what you asked, okay, it was, that's where it was. Oh, yeah, how many of those students are tuition, you know?
Approximately half.
Approximately, so about, because it's a revenue issue for us, so
50 preschools have to be one like peer,
it's close, yeah.
yeah, as possible, so there's gonna be approximately 50% all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Sarah on this report, anybody? Thank you, Sarah.
I think you're all set then.
See ya.
Nothing else, John?
Can I just, Andy, when you go into the SAS New Hampshire,
Oh, yeah.
under educational programs, they have, basically the different areas, like personal body safety workshop, that's more
Right.
toward, you know, in kindergarten, first grade, good touch, bad touch, all that stuff.
Right.
So it tells you all
Yeah.
that they're there.
Yeah.
That's what basically the curriculum is, and it's
Right.
based on the health frameworks and so forth.
Before John goes, I would, the IT department report, it sounds like there's some stuff going on with technology, is it,
Mhm.
what's going on? And we probably should do tech committee meetings at
Yeah.
some point once Carla's,
We,
Settle down.
Carla and I had our first weekly meeting. I didn't start them right away with her, but talked with her yesterday. She is looking into it. She's trying to get, she's got to call into, I think it's Gov Connection or Daystar, one of them to come in, because what happened was, she feels that when we put in the server, not the server, the new, firewall, she thinks that's done something to the virtual network to slow it down. So for example, on Monday, she said we can't take NWEAs because of the virtual network. She's got something fixed, so that she sent out an email this morning that it's all set, she can take the NWEAs. So she is dealing with that, and she's also found that she thinks that our phone system has more interference than like the cabling or whatever, but she's still looking into it, so. But she's gotten some of it fixed and up and running, but she's gotta get Daystar and them in there to see what they did when they brought that in. Because it was two separate companies. I think it was Gov Connection that put in the virtual network, and then Daystar put in
The firewall.
the firewall, so.
Is the cost then coming in covered under their installation contract, like troubleshooting, or?
Well, that was part of Oh, the troubleshooting part?
Like, do we have to pay for them to come in, or is it part of their installation that will come back in?
Well, I'm sure that they think it's part of it. I didn't ask her that question, but if we're having issues with their install, I'm sure that they come in and, but she has contracted services if they feel it's something else. She has that money under that line, so she'd have to use that.
There was a certain number of hours too that was allotted for that kind of
They
stuff
usually
in the
are.
contract. So things are working okay though, I mean, except that Nevis couldn't be done.
The first day, they can be done now.
Okay.
We're still having issues, the networks are still slow. We're looking about increasing bandwidth,
Right,
because we had just have the free, and that was what Jason had put out before he left, that we
Right.
need to increase the bandwidth from Comcast. She
right.
also wants to get Comcast in to check the connections coming in.
Okay.
Yeah, she's busy.
Yep.
She's very busy.
What connections, what?
I don't know the technical stuff.
Ask
The
Wayne
plug
Anderson,
that
say
she
everything.
plugs in the internet with. I don't know, I'm not sure what the connections are, this is what she said to
I
me.
mean, there's gonna be a transition point,
Yeah.
because she's walking into a new building
Right.
with all kinds of new things, and Jason did a lot of big changes
Yeah.
over the last few years, and things have run so much more smoothly than they were,
Mhm.
that I'm sure it's probably not as bad as what it used to be.
But he saw this, he told her that there were some things that he saw issues with that he was gonna have to correct. Number one was, like I said, the bandwidth.
But yeah, the technology committee even talked
Yeah,
about
we
that,
talked
and
about
I think
that.
we brought it to the board to let you know that we were gonna, because we needed to do it for the common.
So it sounds
The
like the
Common Core.
technology committee needs to,
Right, we might need to get together.
Yeah.
Just to touch base with her and see if she needs any
I'll-
assistance. And then your computer is,
Yeah, my
So-
computer died. My computer
Okay.
is Bill Marson, I think they got it for Bill Marson, so it's been there for a while, so.
do we have money to replace it for you? I mean, is
We
it?
found it.
Well, I mean, were there new laptops? There are new laptops in the budget, right?
Yeah, we did the new
Okay.
laptops and all that stuff, but we had money in my admin line for a new printer,
Mhm.
but then we got a color printer
With
from
the new
with the new
buy?
one, so there was that money there. Even though we did have to transfer here and there. Because we transferred that, equipment line into the nurse's line for something else, and then I had to transfer it back in from somewhere else to make that line whole again so we can get my computer.
So did we already do all those transfers?
Yes, I believe so, because it was all under $1,000.
Alrighty.
so we all set? All set?
All set.
The rides, the rides.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
So,
So you-
Unless there's something you see that you can be on the report for, I don't see anything else.
so, I have a quick question. Am I just missing a payment here? Or in terms of all the issues that went on, I don't see it in the report. Am I missing?
What are you
anything?
missing?
Well, you said that you talked about all the issues that happened at school. I didn't get
No,
that when I
I
read
asked-
this last night.
They were talking about things that were going wrong tonight, so I just
Okay.
asked what's going on
Okay,
with the
I thought I was just
technology.
missing from that.
No,
Okay.
we'll have Carla update in the next report on
Okay.
all of these things, okay?
Yeah, they were very recent, so probably
Yeah.
before her
Okay,
report.
I just,
Yeah.
I thought I was just missing
Yep.
it. So
No, I was
five
just
times.
picking it up on
Updated
conversations, and John kept saying my computer.
Yeah.
Well, my home computer and my school computer died.
Maybe it's you.
Yeah, it's me, yeah, it's fine. Count up to me, huh? Okay,
Okay.
all right, thank you very much.
Thank
Au revoir.
you. Night. So we're at facilities director's report. Does this pumping of the septic have anything to do with the water tester?
No, no.
Okay, that's
No,
good, 'cause they were
and
one right after the
I
other.
talked to Scott about no, that actually happened in the summer. A number of schools across the state have this problem, and it's because of the amount of rain we had. And what happens is the rain washes out of the forest, it comes down to the lower areas where the wells are, and it brings all the animal dung with it, and that's what happens. But our water was never at a point where it was an issue, it was just that they noticed that we had to watch it, and so we tested it again, and all is clear, so
Okay.
everything's fine.
And then the last thing on his report about we didn't get a waiver, we were denied a waiver.
That means we just have to continue to sample.
And that's the same,
Yeah.
what is VOC?
DOC.
Oh, because our well water is drinking water is within 50 feet.
Yes, that's why,
So,
yeah.
I know it's what's VOC and SOC.
Yeah, well, that's a good question, let's see. I think that may be a typo, the SOC sample. I'll have to check. That's something I don't know. Okay, there's acronyms. And one thing I will ask for people is to not use acronyms in the reports. And along with John in his reports, not to use bulleted items, to use narratives, so that you can understand everything that's coming. But I will get the answers to that.
It looks like whatever SOC is was approved, the waiver. But
Right,
the
yeah.
DOC was not.
It's usually, you know, the Department of, it's usually the DES.
It is.
You know,
It says a letter from DES.
Right.
Stating the receipt or
SOC
waiver.
sampling must be sampling
Right.
command or something like that, you know. But I'll find out.
Or could be sampling for
Division of
sampling.
I'll find out.
I don't know if we need to, like,
Education.
I don't know, the reason I asked is because if the waiver was denied and it's been denied for 25 years and
Mhm.
we've never moved anything, then I guess it's not an issue. But if it's something that they're now
That's
starting
not-
and we need to move the driveway or parking.
No, it's just that he asks for it
We'll have
every
to budget
time,
for
and
that.
they deny it every time, because it just means that we have to continually sample,
Okay.
because of the proximity of the well.
Yeah, the well's supposed to be 50 feet
Yes,
from any building
and it
or
isn't.
area. And I don't think that was the case when we built the building. I think that was probably a regulation that came after.
Right.
Okay. And now we have financial reports, which came in.
Right, and if you ask me anything about them, I will not be able to answer.
Me
Um,
I do have questions about them, but I'll reserve my questions until,
And she'll be in the
Yeah,
next meeting, you can
I'll-
go brush her.
I think I'll be.
well,
I think
actually, would it be better to ask the questions now? I'm not expecting the answers, but because you're gonna meet with Lori Thursday,
Yeah.
Sure,
That's
next,
a good
next week,
idea.
I think Wednesday we need.
or whatever.
Yeah.
before
Fire
next
away,
meeting.
fire away, what do you
Okay.
need to know?
Alright, so my questions are, with regard to, let me get to the beginning here. I noticed that a lot of the encumbrances are done, but the salaries haven't been encumbered.
And they were, if you look at last month, you will see that they were encumbered. So I printed this out by going in there and trying to figure out what report to print, and I looked at that, and I noticed that they were not encumbered here in this one, but if you look at last month's report, they were. So I may have brought up the wrong report.
And if not, it's a very simple
Thank you.
button in ADS.
Okay. With regard to the New Hampshire Public High School regular education, I'm curious as to why all of that is encumbered. When I know that our tuition rate came in well below what we budgeted for.
So
So,
what
It's
line is that?
1100-5561.
Oh, okay, it's all.
-30. It's
Dash
actually,
561
yeah, it
dash
actually has
30.
us overspent by 82 cents.
Okay.
And you wanna know why the whole thing is encumbered?
Right,
Is that the Sanborn payment?
yes.
Okay.
That's the regular ed portion
Yeah.
of
This is
Sanborn.
encumbered because, it would be encumbered because we returning portion it to the town.
No, we didn't motion that. I pulled that motion.
We just received a $12,000 check for the end of the year from them for the final balance returned from Sanborn, so we got some money back.
Oh, really?
I just wonder if that line's over encumbered.
We'll find out.
Yeah, I can find that
Well,
out.
that's easy enough.
And then the last question I have pertains to transportation, which is on page, no, I'm sorry. On page 12, I have another question, the health insurance school admin line. It looks like we did a budget transfer of $23,775, which actually put us overspent by that same amount.
You know what that looks like to me?
And you said it was a budget transfer?
I have to find the number for you so that you'll have it.
It's 2400-5211-00, oh, 10-2400-5211,
Yeah, looking at
Say that again, 2400 5211,
-00.
school admin.
and it's 27,000, did you say?
It's 23,775.
What's strange is, we did a budget transfer out of that account for that exact same amount, and now we're over budgeted by that amount, so I think something funny happened with that
Okay.
transfer,
Okay.
Yeah, that would,
is my guess.
And then on page 14 of that report, with regard to the regular ed transportation, which is 2721 5519
2721-5518,
10
5519.
oh, 5519,
I like when you see all the numbers, they fall off.
-10.
yeah,
At the last meeting, we were asked to transfer $2,000 out of that line because we had, because they moved their office space.
Yes,
we were
that's
able
right.
to save
Yep.
money,
Yep,
but that line is now overspent by $7,681.
okay, good
So-
question.
I think,
7,600.
I think what the answer to that's gonna be, Sharon, is that if you combine the two, the high school and the regular ed, we're still ahead of the game by $37.60.
So the bottom line is
So-
okay.
Well, the bottom line is okay, but
I
with
think she
regards
just
to that,
took it out of one instead of just splitting it between the two maybe or
so
something.
it's
you know
over
what I
by
mean?
$7,000. It's not over by 2.
We'll find
Which
out.
Oh,
is the
that's true,
transfer.
that's true.
We'll
that's
find
true.
out. Yeah, it was a shuffle the last week, so, you
Oh.
know. who
That's
knows,
fine,
maybe
those,
she made a
those were my
mistake.
questions, and I just figured out since you're gonna meet with her,
Yep.
you might.
I had just one more, well, I think it was one more, which, it was line 2400, 5610.
What page is that on?
Wow.
12?
Page 12.
Okay, 5610 must be supplies,
Yeah,
right?
it's over by
Yeah.
2,000.
Okay,
And we took some money out of that line. And we've spent about what it's over, so I'm wondering if it's not coming out of encumbrance for some reason.
And that
I'm
could be
thinking
the
that
other
that
thing.
was encumbered. We've had that happen
We've
before.
had that
so-
happen before where
in the
encumbrances
past.
weren't getting hit when expenses were being processed, so we were double expending.
Ah, okay.
So that could be the issue
Okay.
right there.
okay.
We shouldn't have any lines over because.
No, I know.
Because everything
especially
gets
this time of
transferred.
year.
Right.
So,
Yeah, okay.
and that.
Well, what I
may-
can try to do is see what, any of the variances I can ask her about. I see that 23,775 now.
Mhm.
But you said there was a budget transfer for that exact amount?
Right, if you look in
Yeah.
the second column of the report under
The budget
budget
adjustments.
Oh, I
adjustments,
see that, yeah.
that's where the transfers come in and out.
Okay. So what my guess would be is that they just didn't reduce the encumbrance by that amount.
Possibly.
Right, well,
And
that's,
Yeah.
so that would just need to
That
be
may-
corrected if that didn't happen.
Yeah, that would be my guess, just looking at it.
so that would
That may
be a
explain
red
all of
flag to look at
Yeah.
and see if it's hitting as an expense rather than hitting the encumbrance.
And I'd have to see how you're putting your encumbrances in too, because an ADS is two different ways to do it.
So the encumbrance might be after August 31st, and if this report was printed as of August 31st,
And not only that,
the
but there's a way to
encumbrance
put
would show up in
them,
this one.
there's a way to put them in manually, and then your purchase orders can also generate them. So,
Mhm.
I don't know, I'll just have to see how you do it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and that may be, it may just be that the encumbrances. Okay, good, thank you.
Sorry, there's one more.
So much for that.
Teacher retirement for psych. It looks like we didn't budget
What page are
anything.
we on?
I'm sorry, page 5. 21405232.
Teacher. Oh, yeah.
It looks like we didn't budget anything. She's been with us forever.
She's
So-
only a 3/4.
But,
She has
So
to
we're-
be full-time for the New Hampshire retirement system. You have to be a full-time employee.
so then there's an
Not-
error.
But if you're
in
a
the
teacher, it's 30 hours, and she may fall under the teacher.
We'll have to see.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Either
Well, no,
way-
6.75, it would still
We
be
either-
part-time. It would still be part-time, which
But it-
doesn't fall
yeah.
under the NHRS.
But would she,
And-
would she be 30 hours though, maybe? I don't know.
Well, we used
She's
to,
on a teacher's
she's
contract.
been with us forever, and so I don't know why we wouldn't have already budgeted for that. So I'm wondering if that's a
Well, if
mistake.
she's 30, if she's 3/4, that would be only 28 hours.
That's right, so
She
yeah.
probably wouldn't fall under the New Hampshire
It's
retirement.
retirement, yeah.
So
That's my
this
guess.
expenditure under her line might be a data entry error.
Could be.
It could be.
Got some money.
Yeah, it's only $472. Don't get too excited.
Get excited.
Yeah. And then the health insurance for, did you already ask about the health insurance for men?
Yeah, I did. That's the 23,000.
775, yeah.
Okay,
That's it.
right, lots of good stuff.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right. Enrollment report.
Something that needs to be reconfigured.
Well, the school one's okay, right?
Any questions on the
Alice
school?
School.
We're good. We down like 12 students from last year.
That I couldn't answer you.
About that.
Yeah, we're down about 12 students.
Well, we
More
had-
than that. We had-
Didn't you have a big class?
Yes.
Lisa? You've got two small
Yeah.
middle
Yes.
Right,
classes?
that's what it is, yeah.
Yep.
Because you've got a 39 student at grade 8, which is very small.
Mhm.
Yes, we do.
That is small.
Yeah, but that's the smallest, so.
Did we really go from 227 to 244 at the high school? That's my question.
That's, we're checking that out.
That's
a
funny,
good
I
question.
had a discussion with Brian Stack
Yeah.
last week. I called him about something with one of my kids, and he said, wait, before you say anything, I have to tell you, I had a school board meeting last night, and I was very proud to tell them that Fremont is now the second position as far as attendance goes in the school.
Yeah.
They have, they now, their numbers are greater than Newton, and I said, why, what's our number? And he said 243, I thought he said, and I said, no way. It can't be. He said, we have 62 ninth graders, and I said, we should have 62 10th graders. Because my son graduated,
Yep.
and he's in 10th grade now, and his class was the big class. And he said, no, we have 62 ninth and 10th
It
graders.
says
We're
plus
gonna
62.
confirm these. Ida and I were talking about this with Yvonne earlier. At this time of year, they often don't have the students who've left the requests for transfers yet. So,
I didn't think we had that many outgoing 8th graders, though.
didn't you have a big 8th grade class?
Yeah, big eight.
It was
we-
not
we
last
did.
year, it was
Yeah, it
the
was-
year before, I thought.
No, it was last year.
62, you're having 62 incoming freshmen, and that's supposed to be correct. So, but I would assume you would have budgeted appropriately, and this is like at the edge of the budget.
Yeah, I'll have to see what our 8th grade was on our last
So I'm very
enrollment
nervous.
report. Because I didn't think, my son he was a ninth grader last year, and his class was 62, that was the whole DC issue.
Yeah.
Last year, we didn't have a DC issue. If we had 62 8th graders, we should have had a DC
That's
issue.
true.
Unless most of them were at the charter school.
Yeah, or they didn't go.
I don't know how big our 8th grade class was at the charter school.
Right.
So-
Let me verify that for the next meeting. We're gonna set up a little bit differently too. We're gonna say tuition, non-tuition, so that you can see, where the money is, because that's the big question.
All right.
Can we get a list of total kids per grade as well?
Sure,
Is that hard to do?
no,
Okay.
we should be able to do that.
If it's hard, it's not that
No,
hard.
no, we should, I would wanna do that. Yeah. Total enrollment by grade. And that, I know, I looked at this and I said, this is what you usually do, and she said, yes, so.
I said, well, if we
Yeah.
keep trending like this, we'll have to change the name to Fremont Regional High
High
School.
school.
I think this Mr. Herman has no one in his class. So
He doesn't,
He doesn't
he's
have a
teaching
homeroom.
science every day now.
He doesn't have a
There's only one
homeroom.
science
Alright.
teacher, 7th and 8th
So he's
grade,
teaching science.
so he doesn't have a
He
home.
doesn't have a homeroom.
Right.
And that's how they make up for it.
And
We
this
will
is-
fix that.
Yeah, I mean, we do have some awfully small classes.
There was 56 8th graders in our school as of June 30th, so probably some came from charter
Okay.
or from private.
Right. But we do, we do have some very, very small classes, very small classes,
But it's temporary.
Yeah, because next
If you
year the
look
number
at
was
what's
back
coming
up.
up.
Yeah, when we get to budget time, we'll talk about that and see
Alright.
what, how the board feels about
Right.
how the school staff and all that,
right.
based upon that.
All right. Policy ACAD, other school district officers' compensation.
Right, there was a conversation
Oh,
about
yes.
the pay for the other school district officers,
Right.
particularly for the clerk. So I looked up the policy and brought also the law that goes with it,
Right.
so that you'd be aware that the board itself can't make that decision.
Right.
So as we go into the budget season, you may just want to think about,
We have to warn article.
yeah,
We have to do a warrant article.
Well, my question is, other than taking the minutes at the meeting,
And swearing the officers in,
what else does the clerk do?
nothing.
Well, they do something with elections, don't
Do they do something with the ballots?
They don't have to.
No.
They must be involved with that.
Special warrant articles?
do they,
They do something with special warrant articles,
Our-
or petition,
checklist, anything?
petition warrant
Yeah,
articles?
our warrant
No,
articles
nothing.
submitted
Nope,
to
not in
them.
this town.
The
Okay,
warrant
well,
articles go to the town clerk?
Yep,
All of them?
they
Really?
always have.
I thought one of our
They come to the SAU
clerks
office.
handled a petition warrant article a couple of years ago, I thought.
is there a job description for this position?
I don't know.
Okay, let me see what I can find out.
Yeah, I'm
There
just
should be
curious
a
what
job-
the role
there
is,
should
because
be
it's
an
hard to
RSA.
determine the pay
Right,
if we
well,
don't
the
know
RSA
exactly what the
pays.
duties are.
Yeah, there should be an RSA what the clerk's supposed to, what the clerk's responsibilities, it has to be, because they're an elected position. So there has to be an RSA on what the school clerk's supposed, what their responsibilities are.
And well, I will find out,
Yeah.
okay? RSA, job description. Yeah, we'll get that to you.
And we haven't found anyone yet?
No, we have not received any action on the
applications?
ad at this point.
Right.
People
We're
are
paying
not
what?
lined up at the
We were
door.
paying $150, right?
People are not lined up at the door. We can hope.
I don't think it was ever about money.
No.
I really don't. I mean, I don't think the compensation, I mean, I suppose if you offer the moon, everybody will apply,
That's
but.
right, make it $5,000, you'll have people lined up.
Yes, you will.
I'd be the first in line. just
Yeah.
saying.
Exactly, exactly, you know?
We split it, okay?
It's something people can't.
So we don't need
That's
this.
I'll split it.
No action,
Okay.
it's just information to get you
Oh, yeah.
thinking. And, well, you know, because there was a comment last time, and I picked this up from the conversation, there was a comment, well, we don't pay very much. So I wanted to look into what the process was for you to change the pay should you decide to.
Sure.
And you may not want to.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so now
I'm just
you
not sure it's gonna matter.
Okay.
We're at public input. Kathy, do you have anything?
No, I'm all set.
Sue, anything?
I had a couple questions.
Sure.
I was wondering about the letter that the teachers had written, and I know that you were working on a response, and it may have been covered at the last meeting. I wasn't able to attend, and I didn't see it in the minutes, but I could have missed it. I was just looking at them quickly. I just
It was written, it was read out loud at the last meeting,
wondered- Okay.
and it's supposed to be attached to the minutes once they're approved.
So I'll look online.
Do you have a copy of it, Sue, to attach?
Oh, maybe this is it.
I don't think.
Is this?
It should be
Is that,
attached
well,
to
you got the
draft
draft
minutes,
there.
it's there in the draft minutes.
Got it.
The letter's there?
Yes, thank you. I was also wondering about the curriculum dinner. A couple of meetings ago, there was talk about it, and then I heard that invitations went out, and I just wondered what the,
Well, I can tell you about that.
okay.
We had, last time we had 3 responses. 2 people said yes and 1 person said no. And I don't know if we got any more responses.
We had one phone call, a person who was calling at the last minute to check in on Monday, and was disappointed, wanted to
Okay.
come but was disappointed. And then we also had the former member of the board,
Jeff Rowell?
Jim Brown, thank you, let's start with an R, come in, and he was disappointed also it had been canceled because he was going to say yes, but that was the extent of it.
And we've had to cancel the,
Oh, okay,
because we didn't have the response.
okay.
So we will be moving forward next board meeting with a report from the curriculum committee.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
You had touched on when next year's budget, when we started working on that. I just wondered, when does that actually start, the budget planning for next year?
It's underway.
Part of the minutes, I think,
Right.
should be the
Is there
budget
schedule?
calendar
Schedule.
schedule. If it's not in the minutes, we certainly can get you a copy, Sue. We approved at the last meeting, the budget schedule, and when it was starting.
Actually, we should have that posted online. I believe that it is posted online. If not, I will make sure it is. I had asked for it to be posted.
There's a formal schedule that gets approved by the board.
Okay,
And
great.
that,
Yeah, I
so
don't
it tells you when everything's.
I didn't get to read.
Online, I'll make sure it is.
through everything, so maybe I missed it, but I will look online for the budget schedule for next year. And how much of that happens at these meetings? Is it much discussed at these meetings, or is it more in working
At some
sessions?
point in the calendar, you'll see us having it on our agenda for presentation to us.
So do
The
we,
board doesn't work on it, the administration does
Right.
first.
do we work up a number and present it to the budget committee, or are we given a number by the budget committee
No.
that we
No.
back into?
We present to them our number, and we hope that they motion to approve it as we present it, but oftentimes they make adjustments on their end, and their number is what gets put on the warrant, or what gets amended at the deliberative session, is what goes on the warrant, but it's their number we start with.
As a school board, we can say we want the budget to only be 3% more or 2% more level funded. We can instruct the superintendent, give us a budget with whatever parameters we set. We haven't set any yet, so.
So that'll probably be something that, some guidance that you may give at some point in the future.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, action items, nomination of a .75 guidance counselor.
We have for you Melinda Avellino, who has been thoroughly vetted by the powers that be at the school, and I also met and interviewed and got excellent recommendations on the phone from a variety of people. She is working 1 day a week else at the Hampton School. I left it on my table. And they're unhappy that they aren't able to employ her full-time. They're thrilled that she will be comfortable this way, but she seemed very, very good, very energetic, everybody loved her. And the salary is 3/4 prorated to begin on the 16th, should the board approve her nomination.
So what is her annual actually though? Like what will she be paid annually versus what we?
Let me go.
So this isn't, the salary in here is not the annual salary?
No, the
It's
salary
prorated
there is
amount?
the actual. That's the actual, what she will receive this year.
Or we should receive,
Because she's starting later.
oh, right, it's not
She's
annualized.
.75.
Right, so it's not annualized, so it was a couple of months that she missed.
Right.
So the 53 is what?
We're gonna annualize it.
That's what Gina was making.
Right. Gina was at the top of the scale in masters, and this lady will be masters 5 this year, so I can look up masters.
And Master 5 means she's had 5 years in the
Right,
office?
she's had 5 years. So, let's see. Masters 5 this year, the annual would be 38,471. Okay, and just a little more on her background for you. I have to bring this in. I'm stumbling all over myself.
We
Ah,
got the calculator figured out.
she was presently,
Leaving, figure out.
What is
right,
that?
she's in Southampton.
This is her salary.
Oh, I thought
Her
that was.
salary's gonna be 38,471.
Oh, I thought 75% of that.
No.
Oh, right.
Well, no, next year, well, if she's still in the 7.75 contract, it would be 75% of
Right.
that.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
75%.
That's the full amount.
It's the full-
My fault. That was the full amount, not
Right.
.75. I was reading from the,
That's what we're gonna pay her from the day she starts till the end of the year.
what you have, the 26.
That's what we're paying her this
What
year.
we're paying her this year. Next year
Right.
will be 75% of 38.
Right, which is
Well, it should be one more year, it should be
28.
one step higher, right?
That's
So
true.
that's
Right.
6. All right. So the
So-
75% of the contract.
Right. Yeah, she's presently 20% at the Barnard School in Southampton. Prior to that, she was in Stratton at the middle school and Newfound Memorial Middle School for 4 years. Moved because of her husband moving, and her recommendation from the principal there, where they had her for 4 years, was how much they missed her. So I think we're doing very well.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we're very lucky.
Did you have a lot of response to that position?
They had enough, they had at least 7, I'm not sure exactly how many it was, but they interviewed a good number. They were very happy with what the choices they had, but she just really was a standout, so.
So, do I have a motion to accept the nomination of the .75 guidance counselor, Melina Avellino?
So moved.
Second?
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So when can she start? That's it right away?
Well, we'll get her in for her paperwork this week, and she starts Monday, so, which is the 16th, yeah. She wanted to start like tomorrow. I said, no, we gotta do your fingerprints. We gotta
You have to
sign
give
a
a notice,
contract, we gotta get your paper, all of that.
Okay, good. Accounts payable and payroll manifests. Do you have those with you?
That would be Tammy and.
Oh, I'm sorry, do you have those with you?
I have, okay. so
Oh,
this
there
is
should be a
all
little
new.
packet of, I bet it's probably at
She
Yvonne's.
didn't give it to me.
I bet it's right at her desk.
I know where it is.
Little
Can
stand
I
up
phone
bag.
you so I know where?
Sure.
Oh,
She usually puts it right at your
Oh, yeah,
desk.
she
just
ran out
probably
the door
forgot.
to get a kid a little early, so.
Hmm.
This is all new, so.
That's okay.
It's all right, it's new to me too. I still have to learn what you need to have here. Okay, good. All right, so new to me too. I still have to learn what you need to have here. Okay, good. All right, so new to me too. I still have to learn what you need to have here. Okay, good. All right, so new to me too. I still have to learn what you need to have here. Okay, good. All right, so new to me too. I still have to learn what you need to have here. Okay, good. All right, so new to me too. I still have to learn what you need to have here. Okay, good. All right, so new to me too. I still have to learn what you need to have here. Okay, good. All right, so new to me too. I still have to learn what you need to have here. Okay, good. All right, so new to me too. I still have to learn what you need to have here. Okay, good. All right, so new to me too. I still have to learn what you need to have here. Okay, good. All right, so new to me too. I still have to learn what you need to have here. Okay, good. All right, so new to me too. I still have to learn what you need to have here. Okay, good. All right, so new to me too. I still have to learn what you need to have here. Okay, good We'll figure it out.
I learn a lot every day. every time I'm here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Did you find it okay?
I did.
Good, all right.
I'll start with you all at your end, and I'll start the manifest at your end.
Thank you, Ivy.
Now, do I need to do anything specific? Is this
I just
all-
talked about the big ticket items, that's all for each one.
Yeah, 'cause I don't think there's anything that stands out.
Yeah, we're not spending any money this month.
Because nobody knows how to print the checks. Well, that's one way to save
Save
money.
money.
We ever gonna go to insistent direct deposit for the check?
Yes, we do direct deposit.
Do we require one to have direct deposit?
We don't require it. It's just-
So there was nothing outstanding?
No, just, a couple of things that were tuition, that were a little, that were
Had to learn about.
They were higher.
Mhm.
See, I'm not sure what actually should be said or shouldn't be said, so maybe I can find out specifics later.
Yeah.
No
Sure.
names.
Okay. Yeah.
What I used to do when I did it is I'd highlight any of the bigger ticket items just to let the board know, because like when you see $112,000 manifest, somebody might want to know, like, was there 40,000 in, a lot of times it was things like tuition,
Yeah.
or it was contracted services, and I would just kind of total them up and say contracted services, that's it. Just so that we know, or tuition bill, when that comes in, it's always huge.
Yeah, I can actually say that probably a combination between tuitions and busing
Mm-hmm.
made up the majority of this.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a question about the payroll? Is more than one check listed for some people?
Okay. Reimbursements for different things?
Are they like tuition reimbursements, or are
Sometimes they
like-
get a double check if their, the contract has, a stipend that goes along with it, or, if they get mileage, or,
Mileage doesn't come through AP?
no, comes,
Mm.
no, mileage does come through AP, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you're
they
right,
used to
it
take
is.
it out of,
Yeah.
but they stopped doing that.
Do you have a specific question that you can say publicly, or do you wanna ask me later?
Well, I mean, is this public? Because I can ask it.
Yep.
You've got Lisa Margaret has 3 checks, Robin Lee has 3 checks, 2 for Diane Jackson.
Are they all
I mean,
around the same amount, or?
No, and there's several
Oh.
on here that have 2 checks,
I can help you out on that.
but this is payroll, not AP.
Yeah.
What's AP?
Accounts
Accounts
payable.
payable.
Accounts payable
Okay.
is like your bills that you pay to vendors.
So let me
Payroll
find out
is
the answers
who
for
paid
the
employees.
multiple checks. And that's Lisa, Diane, and who?
Oh, there's more than that.
Two more, so
yeah,
I'll
we
ask
just
about the
wanna look-
multiple checks. Yeah, we will be, we haven't done the LGC stipend refund yet, not stipend, refund yet. We'll be doing that this month, so that will throw payroll off, because we'll be distributing about $86,000.
But that was the entire refund, correct, 86,000?
To my knowledge, it was the entire refund.
So the amount that's gonna be distributed is only the 12% or
That's right.
11%
That's
that was
right,
paid
right.
into,
Yep,
and it's based on what was
That's the
paid in,
employer
depending on the
plus the
insurance that
employee.
they had,
yeah,
correct?
that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And whether they took it pre-tax or after-tax and all of that, we're trying to deal with.
Good
all
luck,
that.
Sue.
Actually, she's gonna miss it. It's Yvonne that's working, trying to figure that out. So I've been calling a few ABs, VAs that I know in the area who have done it already. I'll nab you before we leave.
School care.
Oh, do you? Yeah, that's the problem.
Sure,
I
we
run
can
into.
sign these?
Don't worry about it.
No, I choose not to, for a while,
I'll find out about the extra checks.
Okay, so do I have a motion to accept the AP manifests that are presented by Tammy?
yeah. So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Good job.
I do have a couple more words next time.
Budget transfers.
Now, we didn't get the spreadsheet that we normally get for this.
Yeah, Sarah sent these up on her own, and we did not set, we didn't really know what we were doing, so we just put them into the agenda, so.
So in looking at them, what I'm gleaning is we're transferring the money that we have as a surplus from the tuition line, because the tuition came in lower.
Right.
And I guess my question is, if I'm reading this right, we're transferring to allow for monies to be put in different lines so that we can apply for the IDEA fund?
That's correct.
So then, when the grant comes in,
It'll refill these lines.
okay,
Yeah.
and then we won't transfer it back to tuition, but we'll just have a surplus in those lines? Okay. Just wanted to make sure that I was understanding.
Yeah, that's what didn't happen, and what I've talked with the staff about, with John and Sarah about this year, is that we will create grant lines in the coming budget that will be filled with the grant money when it comes in, rather than having it go into regular lines that are mixed with everything else, so they can very specifically know what lines they're working with in the grant. They find it very difficult to work the way it was set up.
Yeah, this is the first year we did it this way. In the past, we had a separate budget for grants. Fund
Yep.
22 was just a separate budget,
Mhm.
which we presented as a bottom line into our Fund 10,
Uh-huh.
so,
Yeah, I'm accustomed to that, and I find that easier to deal with.
yeah.
So we're gonna try
It
and
was
find,
quite confusing last
we're
year.
gonna try and find some way to make that work this year, so it's not so difficult.
Okay,
Thank you, though.
I support it.
Okay,
Can I
good.
ask the same question
Easy's
about
good.
the Sanborn tuition, sorry, place or not? What is it, what did, we get the GMR, which is their maximum, what's it come in at this year?
I have that,
I have that in it.
it's 14 something. I was just looking at it today. If you can pull it up, great, if you can't, I have it on my desk.
And
Last
did I
year,
miss that in past packet that?
Yeah, it came in over the summer.
it would have been earlier before it came.
Yeah, it was over the summer.
Okay.
It was the meeting where I was gonna encumber the difference. I don't know if you remember that meeting. Let's
You can
see.
tell me later, I just wondered what it was.
Yeah, I've got it on my desk too, grab me after the meeting.
Yeah, I can send it to you, the difference, what we budgeted versus what it came in.
And
See what I
you know
have.
what the number of, vocal extras now in that one?
Well, see, that's what we have to determine, because initially, the total I had between the two lines was $183,000 roughly dollars.
Yeah.
So that we had budgeted that wasn't, was over
Yeah.
because of the tuition coming in low. But now if we do have 244
We're
kids,
right there.
we only
Right
had
there.
227 that we budgeted for.
Yeah,
so
So
you're
that's
making up
gonna
the
eat up
difference.
some of that
Yeah,
money.
so we're right there.
And we need to determine how many of those extra kids are special ed, because then that
There's more
comes
money.
out of Sarah's line
So
as
we're
well,
gonna-
so.
We're gonna take a look at that.
So for the next meeting,
Next
we'll
meeting,
drill in
we'll
that.
have those figures.
Yeah, because you're gonna need them for the bud.
Yeah, you're gonna have some splaining to do.
Fertility rate went up. Born at age 14.
So do I have a motion to accept the transfers that have been put forth in this packet?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Discussion on oil bid.
Oh, I like to congratulate the town and the school for getting such a good price.
What was the price?
$3.35 a gallon.
Oh, $3.35, did you say?
Yeah.
I had $3.07.
Oh, we got 307? Oh!
Higher usage.
Yeah, consortium.
We're
Yeah.
kind of little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, if everybody's happy with that, I did make one change in the agreement. I compared this agreement with the prior year's agreement and
Yeah.
saw that difference on number 7 for the end of the contract, and we have to go to June 30th. So I called them up and I said, what's with this? And she said, oh, you got the standard contract. And I said, well, everything's right with this. And she said, just change it and initial it and we'll be okay.
Cool.
And so this is the same company the town is using, because I know when we went out
Yes.
to bid, we went out to bid together.
This is the same company, and the same company we're presently using.
Oh, good.
So it's just continuation of service.
My motion to accept the contract as presented with the amended date.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Do I need to sign that, Betsy, or do you sign it?
No, we can sign it.
What's that?
We can sign
Okay,
it. Usually the business administrator.
Okay,
I'll take care of it.
perfect. Let's see. down to the town hall originally, but that was for the, I think that was for the big long contract, not just the rate sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah. From Fremont Energy Committee correspondence request.
Right. I have a lot of questions that I would like to, about this. I mean, there's a lot, it doesn't, number one, we have no idea what the capital depreciation of this thing is, so we don't know when it's gonna have to be replaced. We don't know, I mean, this is part, we'll probably come in, if we went forward and it came in the bid, we'd have to know how much electricity is actually gonna provide for us.
I think this is, Andy, I think that's all the information they're looking to gather, and they're just
Right.
looking for permission to gather it for our sake
All right.
here.
All right.
And then they'll gather it and they'll give us a report, and then if we have questions, if you have questions ahead of time though, my recommendation is to email the energy committee ahead of time, so they know what questions
All right, I will.
to go
email.
forward and pursue.
Through the chairs.
Yeah, Jean is the
Yeah,
chair.
that's,
Gene.
basically, that's what it is. It's, we found this stuff where we'd like to know if you're interested in us looking at this.
Right, on our behalf, yeah.
All right.
So the board just needs to respond.
So do you want Andy to go through me for that, to the chair, or
I mean,
can he just
I
go
mean-
directly?
I mean, should we
Okay.
respond, as the whole thing, should we respond as a board or just respond as individuals to them? Because
You should respond as a board.
yeah, because I mean, I have a lot of questions. The questions I'd like to answer is what is the capital depreciation on this project? What do they expect the maintenance cost to be? How much,
Why don't you email those to Ida?
okay, well, we should talk about it here. Should we
It's
vote
true.
on them?
Yeah.
We should talk
The
about it and vote
maintenance
on it here.
cost,
You're right.
after we own it, you mean?
Yeah, well,
When we
yeah.
finally get to owning it, because it's
Yeah.
old by the time we get to own it, which
Yeah.
is of course when it costs the most to maintain.
Right.
Yeah, and they're saying
From what I-
it will pay for itself, is what they're saying, but we don't know that. Because generally speaking, the cost of these projects are usually $7 per kilowatt hour per year,
Right.
is how much they cost. So you can kind of get an estimate of, if we can look at what our kilowatt usage is, we can get an estimate of how much it's gonna cost to build it. And that doesn't include structural issues within Ella School.
Yeah,
Um,
and zoning and everything else.
We might be able to get some information from Sanborn.
Well, that's what I
too,
think we're
but
talking
Sanborn's-
Sanborn. They did.
90% of the building is covered in.
They went with Revolution Energy, they did the audit and everything else like that. But yes, I mean, the questions I have is, what's the capital depreciation? How much electricity will actually provide for the school? How many average days of sunlight do they expect to have during an average year in this part of New England?
I suspect.
And what's the original cost, because if we're, of producing,
Yeah.
of building it, because if we're paying for 25 or 35% original cost, project cost, we should know what the original cost might be. Like I said, that's usually generally $7 per kilowatt hour per year, so if we had 100,000 kilowatt hours, it would cost us $700,000.
Sounds like you know a lot about
And
this.
the other problem that we have to think about as a school is that when we get to purchase it, how are we gonna purchase it?
Mhm.
If we have to have a bond issue
Yeah.
and people say no, then what do we do with it?
Yeah, or a warrant article.
Or a warrant article, or do we put up a capital reserve fund?
Mhm.
Do we put up a trust fund that we set aside so much money a year, so when the time comes, we have money to pay for it?
Yeah,
Because the biggest problem I see, if we bond this and the public says no, then what do they do, come and take it down?
well, you wouldn't do anything until you had the money.
Right, but the thing is, we're supposed to, the contract would be that we would buy it after like
Right.
year 7.
I don't think you could even act on it
Yeah,
unless
unless
you
you have the
pass
commitment.
that.
Yeah, you'd have to have the commitment
We'd
before.
we'd have the
you-
commitment so we'd have to have
You'd have
year
to fund
1.
that trust, I think, right away.
Yeah, we'd have to bond it out immediately, put the money in a trust.
Yep, that's right.
Or something like
Yeah.
that, and so it'd be contingent on that, so,
It's a lot to think about.
yeah, it's a lot to think about. And the other thing we could think about too now, I don't know how far away this is, but if some of these projects are transferable, so if we were to think about building a new middle school or a new
You could move it.
New Ella School, whether we could move it or not. And, I mean, I think that, or whether we, or how far in the future this would occur, so whether it be something that we could build into, if we did build into the building, whether we wanna build it right into the new building, which is actually a lot cheaper and more efficient.
You might wanna know if it's the names of some other districts that are working with this.
Right.
So you can talk to other boards
Right.
and see how things are going.
We should do that,
They may
yeah.
have them already up and you can find out what the problems are.
We know Sanborn did it. We probably just contact Revolution Energy, I could go on Revolution Energy's website, because they list all the projects that they've done.
Does anybody else have anything that they want me to respond to?
I don't know anything about it, so I have a question.
You're about to learn a lot.
Yeah. I mean, the other issue that you have to think about with with technology changing as fast as this is, that by the time we go to buy it, we may not be able to
It
buy
may be
replacement,
obsolete.
we may not be able to buy replacement parts because it'll be obsolete.
Yeah.
So if something breaks, that's it, it's done.
Are they looking into grants? I guess that would be my question.
Right, grants. There are grants available for this.
No, this is like I think what I read out of this is that it's a private investor
Right.
who puts it in,
Right.
makes his money, and then we start to earn the energy after that, but we
Right.
have to buy out
Yeah.
what they put on there. So
Right.
they do the initial install and all of that.
Mhm.
They make their money, because they get the power back, I believe.
Do
Right.
you want someone from the Energy Commission to come to the board meeting and talk about this for you? You know, we can ask
Well,
them.
I think it would be good after they've done their research, yeah.
So, just say that, you know.
Yeah, I'll
just
send a nice letter
just
explaining
let us
our
know when you want
concerns
to be
and
on the
questions.
agenda.
and- Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And with the town, the question would be, would the town be putting this forward as a warrant, or with the school? I would imagine it would be the town,
Oh,
right?
no, it's for the school. The
If it's,
town-
if
The
it's,
town and the
They
school, isn't
can't,
it?
they can't do
if
it,
it's on school property, it would have to be
the school.
the school unless it's co-ownership. And the town would have to be co-owner of it. And it's kind of like the generator. If we get a
Right.
generator,
Right.
it's gonna be a combination.
Right, well, in the town, there'd have to be, if the town took owner, co-ownership, there'd have to be quid pro quo, in other words, some of that electricity would have to be, go to the town at whatever rate the electricity, they'd have to be able to buy it directly from it, because it couldn't be a joint project if they get nothing out of it. I mean, it could be-
Well, we might be able to convince them.
No, but they can't, legally they can't, actually, legally they can't do it legally, so. What?
I thought they were looking into it for the town and the school.
Right, but
They
they
may
would,
have to
yeah.
co-own it.
Yeah, but there'd have to be a quid pro quo, they'd have to connect connect the town hall or the safety complex more likely to that. Or they'd be looking at doing a joint project, like the safety complex in here to reduce costs.
It doesn't sound
or
like they're
something.
really anywhere near answering any of those questions, they're
Yeah.
just at the cusp of.
Yeah, I think they're
taking a
just
look at
looking
things.
for our approval
Yeah.
to go, to
Yeah.
move forward.
Are you interested? Yes, we're interested, but we need more information, come back when you have it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what we will do. I'll send a nice letter. I'll copy everybody. Alrighty, non-public session?
I have nothing.
We don't have anything, okay. So we don't need that. Future and follow-up agenda items.
Let's see, we have a number of things already on the agenda for next time. Let's see, what we're moving forward with. I didn't bring a list. I have to update the org chart, which needs one more correction. People keep telling me people work here, and I'm learning all about it. One simple thing.
Okay, we already took care of that. I had some to the side.
There's a couple things I have, but I don't have the list in front of me. Anything from tonight that needs to be carried over? No, I don't.
Enrollment.
Enrollment, that's, yeah, I've got that down, thank you. So enrollment.
Financials.
Yeah, definitely. Although we still won't have our friend over here until the first meeting in October.
That's fine.
Financial questions that we'll definitely have.
Description, school district clerk, I think you said you were looking
Yep.
into.
I've got, okay, high school enrollment, clerk job description, report from the curriculum committee is next time. That's right, we have the report coming from the curriculum committee, the next meeting.
I'll
We
have
probably
that-
should do all committee reports at the next meeting, because we haven't had
I'll
any.
have the bud come on next week.
FedCom report next meeting.
We'll have
I have a question before we close up. I'd like to extend condolences
Oh,
for Dick Johnson. He was one of our bus drivers
Oh, yeah.
that worked for NRT, passed away. He was also police chief in town years ago and fire, he was on the fire department. And I wondered if the school was doing any flowers.
I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything, but I
Maybe
wish
we
I
do.
did.
Maybe we can do some flowers for his services, I believe, are this
Okay.
week.
All right.
I can find out when.
Yeah, if you could get the
And I can-
information to us, we'll make sure it happens.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we should send flowers. He's been a bus driver for our.
Was that the
District.
emergency that I?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Ooh,
With my daughter's bus driver.
Mm.
that's too bad, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, yeah, let me know, and we'll make it happen.
anything else? Anybody else? Nope. When we do committee reports, we'll do all the committees.
Okay.
So,
All committees.
yeah.
The,
And they're listed on the old manifest that, I mean, the old agenda packets that we
Yep.
have.
This is the curriculum committee report may take 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's a presentation.
It's a presentation,
Okay.
a very PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, good, all right. Okay, so next meeting is Tuesday, September 24th, workshop on our 3 to 5 year goals at 4:30. And
Next
we
meeting,
were going to
4:30.
work on our own school
Homework.
board goals during our regular meeting.
I got the portion.
And I'm gonna be collecting all that data from all of you and putting it into some kind of format that we can use. And I believe, I need that by Monday.
Did you say 4:30 for the next school board meeting?
Yes, 4:30.
Oh, good. Or 4 o'clock.
What time did you say?
4:30, we have it down, to work on the 3 to 5 year goals. Do we need to do 4:30?
That's.
Yeah, we all, that's, it gives you 2
I
hours.
have to look at the date.
24th.
It's the 24th,
It's a regular school board meeting night.
and if you have time during that time, you could, well, put it on the agenda, you gotta do it during the agenda.
I might
No, we
be,
could drop it.
I might be a little late.
And drop, yeah. Okay.
I don't know what time the town clerk's office closes. I know that's bad of me, but I might be a little late.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so I'm taking a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.